Good morning, everybody. Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. Guys, we got our results in from our soil analysis and from Grower Solutions. I highly advise having this done, guys. Don't just go with your extension service because they just do the 3 or 4 little things. These, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at least 13 things right here that I need to know about this soil. Now, to me, planting without doing a soil test is foolishness. I mean, will it grow a plant? Yes, look at these right here. This tomato the other day was way down here. Y'all saw it in some of my previous videos. This is an early girl. It was down here, and now it's up here, and you think, boy, that thing is really doing good. And then you look at the cauliflower around it here. You would think that cauliflower is looking really, really nice. Well, let me tell you something. That's the poorest plant you can lay your eyes on, okay? Because first of all, I'm looking at this plant and I see some purple in it, which I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but I see some purple in it. The cauliflowers should be way out here for the length of time that they've been in here, because a plant only has so long from the time you plant it until it makes a head to mature into a plant. And then if you stop and go back and just do the history and the study of things, it's a proven fact that in the 1940s, you could, or 30s or 40s, you could eat 1 bowl of lettuce and gain most of the or salad. Let me just say salad. You would gain most of the nutrition that the body needed for that day. Today, because our soil has been depleted and has been chemically destroyed by only God knows what, you would have to eat anywhere between 6 and 11 bowls of salad to get the nutrition that that 1 bowl had in it. Because all of our soil now is basically nutrient empty. Now, does it grow a plant? Yeah. Will this tomato plant make tomatoes? Yeah, it'll make tomatoes. Will this make a cauliflower? Sure, it'll make a cauliflower. But it's like eating cardboard. I mean, it basically has no nutrition in it for what the body needs. It'll have trace amounts of the nutrition, but it won't have what the body really needs. Thus, doing a soil sample brings us to the point where we can come in here and we can put those nutritions back into that plant. Now, when I first did this row of beds down this side right here, y'all watch me amend it. I used lime, rabbit manure, and calcium nitrate in it. Now, this is called the north side of the high tunnel. Now, or the front garden. We call it the front or the north. Now, I'm gonna read off to you where we're at in these beds and what we have here. Now, first of all is the pH. Now, I just put a little bit of lime in each one of them because I didn't know. I used pelletized lime like you put in a yard. I didn't really know. This is new soil. I really didn't know. We bought the soil and had it brought in. I didn't know what it was. Ours is at 5.9. Now, the optimal growing range, they say, is between 5.8 and 7. Well, 5.9 is not satisfactory for me, okay? I want 6.5 to 6.8, at least that. So that tells me right off the bat, I got to put some lime in here. Even though it says it's in the optimal range, it's not in the optimal range for what I want for nutrient density in a plant. Total nitrogen is 8.64. The normal should be 32 to 60 parts per million. So I am very, very low in nitrogen. Thus, the pale look of the tomato leaves, the tininess of the plants, and kind of a palish yellow look to the leaves, that's where that's coming from. And I put calcium nitrate in here. I sprinkled it all in here because I was thinking, well, you know, they'll bring it up some. It's only, guys, it's only 8.6, and it should be 32 to 60. I got to put a lot of nitrogen in this soil right here. Now, had I not had the soil test, I would have not have known that. And I thought about putting lime and the calcium nitrate, that my calcium, my lime, and all would be up pretty high, I'm still not where I need to be at. Now, let's look at the phosphorus. Now, keep in mind, I put a lot of rabbit fertilizer in here. Now, rabbit fertilizer is loaded with phosphorus. And plus, there's lots of pieces of old rotten wood in here from the place that I got this, had a lot of rotten wood in it. The phosphorus is at 93.67. The normal should be 8 to 20. So my phosphorus is screaming high. And when that happens, I'm actually happy that it's that high. But at the same time, you got to be really, really careful that you get too much of one and it doesn't bind up the plant where it can take something else. And see, that's what happens. People go and start dumping rabbit manure around stuff, and the phosphorus level jumps way up, and they don't realize that they may be binding up nutrients that the plants can't take up in other ways. Potassium is 103 is my potassium. Now, it should be 38. Let me get my lines right here, right? Yeah, it should be 38 to 80, which means I am screaming high again. So I can't come in here and put fireplace ashes around this for the potash, or I can't come in here and put any potassium in here. Like if I was to use 1313 or 10-10-10, 8-24-24, I would be screaming my phosphorus through the ceiling without even knowing it without this soil test. Now my sulfur is at 1.96, and it should be between 7 and 22. Now I don't mind my sulfur being low a little bit because I don't want my soil to be acidic. I want my soil to be more alkaline than it is acidic. My calcium is at 298.15. Normal should be 80 to 320. I am right in the middle of that. Thus, adding my calcium nitrate, the calcium is perfect. I don't have to worry about that whatsoever. And if you came in here and said, oh, these need calcium because of the way the leaves look on them, no, you would have made a horrible mistake by doing that. Magnesium, which is what most all of our plants are deficient in nowadays, if you buy from grocery stores or anywhere, is magnesium, which the body needs to make good muscle structure, heart structure, all that kind of stuff. My magnesium is at 66.09. Optimal range is 27 to 70. I'm on the high end of my magnesium, which is exactly where I want to be. Now, the rabbit manure helped bring the magnesium up also. Sodium, which is our salt, is at 9.54. Optimal range is 0.5. Where am I at here? I gotta get back to where I'm at. Okay, 0.5 to 30.0, and we're at 9.54. We're on the low end of the sodium, which is the salt in the soil, which is absolutely perfect. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. Now, one of the things here that we need the most in our body is iron, and they have the iron Fe on here. These beds on this side is at 33.34. Optimal range is 3 to 10. I am very high in the iron Fe. I did that because Wanda's blood count has been low, and I want the iron in my soil to be high so that we get the iron that our body needs for our liver to be able to make our red blood cells. Manganese. This one is at 34.94. Optimal range is 4 to 10. So I'm very, very high in manganese. I'm going to have to do a little research to figure out how to bring the manganese down just a little bit, because I really don't like my manganese to be that high. Zinc. Zinc is at 0.82. It needs to be 0.1 to 0.25, which means that my zinc is actually on the high side. Now, I don't mind my zinc being a little bit on the high side because zinc helps fight off bacteria in the body. Your body needs zinc, and that's one of the things that we don't get a lot of from our vegetables. Last one is copper. Our copper is at 0.08. Normal is 0.06 to 0.3. We are on the low side of the optimal range a little bit. So I'm going to need to bring the copper up in the soil just a little bit. So I'm going to have to look at something to put into the soil that brings the copper up just a little bit, not a lot. So guys, this is where we're at on the beds on this side, or the front side or the north side of our high tunnel. Now the beds on the other side, I put a total different analysis in them, and we'll go over and we'll see what they look like, and we'll read the analysis off from the beds on the other side. Okay, before we go over to the other side, I want to let you know what the nutrient density score is for these beds on this side right here. The nutrient density score is 69%. That's kind of like a medium high. I'm not happy with that, okay? I want mine to be above average. I want it to be high. I don't want it to be low or medium. So I thought I'd throw that in there because Grower Solution puts this chart on the back here that shows you your soil nutrient density. It tells you basically how nutrient dense your vegetables are going to be out of this soil that you grow in. And this one being a medium high is not something that I'm really happy with. So thought I'd throw that in there before we run over and look at the other beds. Okay, here we are at the we call this our back garden, or our south garden. It's we got the front and the back. This is the back here with the two sets of red hoops right here. We got our eggplants, our English peas. We got some radishes. We had planted some squash down yonder that hadn't come up yet, and then we have our pepper bed here. If y'all watched our previous videos, you would know about all the different kinds of peppers we put in here. And we have our electroculture in these beds also. So we'll be talking about all of this. But now let's look at where we're at on this side. Now when I put these beds in, same exact soil, same exact rabbit manure. The only difference on this side was I didn't put any calcium nitrate on this side. So basically it's just soil. Well, I put the lime. It's soil, lime, and no calcium nitrate. Now, where's my pH at on this side? My pH on this side is 5.88, which is almost identical to the beds on the other side because I put exactly the same amount of lime over here that I put over there. And optimal is 5.8 to 7, which means this one is very low for what I want for my pH. Now, will the plants grow in it? Yes, because look at these peppers. I mean, this pepper here already got blooms and little peppers on it. So this one's blooming. You know, these are all, they look good. Will they grow a pepper? Yes, they'll grow a pepper. Will it have the nutrient density that your body needs to stay healthy? The answer is absolutely not, okay? It will fill the body, it will put some micronutrients into it, but it will not give your body what it needs. Okay, so we know the pH is a little bit low. Nitrogen on this one is, I'm almost ashamed because I didn't put nothing over here, okay? 1.61. Okay, and normal is 32 to 60. So I am so far on the low side of nitrogen that it's not even funny. I mean, I'm going to have to load these beds up with nitrogen in order to get them up. Now, but you look at the plants and you go, but the plants look so good. That plant looks horrible, guys. We've become so accustomed to looking at bad plants because we don't take care of our soil that we don't know what a good plant's supposed to look like. Now, this plant should be so deep and dark green that it looks like forest green rather than this lime green look that it has here. I mean, this is pitiful. I mean, literally, and people go, yeah, but they're young. That don't make no difference in the world. That leaf right there should be a dark green, and that's pitiful. That's just pitiful. It's almost yellow-green, you know. So we know we got to come up on the nitrogen. Now, the phosphorus is at 7.54 in this bed, and normal should be 8.0 to 20.0. So in the phosphorus on this one, I'm on the low side of low. And guys, it's got the same bark, the same pieces of wood, everything in here. The same amount of rabbit manure, everything in here. But I'm still going to have to kick up the phosphorus in this one to get it up where it needs to be, or my plants won't bloom like they're supposed to. But you see this pepper's blooming now, and on the low end of the scale, it'll bloom. But if I get the phosphorus where it needs to be, these peppers they'll have just tons of blooms all over them. Now the potassium. The potassium in this one is 64.35. Normal range is 38 to 80, which is right down the center of perfect for the potassium. I don't have to add no potash to this one. It is right where it needs to be. Now if I'd have come in here and thrown fireplace ashes in this one, or this whole line, I'd have been messing up. Now one thing I want to bring to your attention while we were talking about it is the nitrogen. Now my English peas down yonder look beautiful because they don't require nitrogen to grow. They make nitrogen by pulling it out of the air and putting it back into the bed. Thus, everything else here looks yellow except the English peas. They are dark green because this is the soil they love. Now, sulfur. Sulfur in this one's at 1.67. Normal is 7 to 22. It's on the low side. And I'm a little bit okay with that because I don't, like I told you before, I don't want it high, but I would like to have it at least up to the low side, but we're way below the low side. Calcium in this bed is 220. Normal is 80 to 320. We're right where we need to be with the calcium in this one. Thus, the lime and all that I put down had enough calcium in it that it brought the levels of the calcium up where it needs to be. So when I go to put the nitrogen in this, I can't use the calcium nitrate because my calcium's already where it needs to be at. So I just need to use strictly nitrate in this one instead of the calcium nitrate. Magnesium. The magnesium is at 49. Optimal is 27 to 70. We are right down the middle of this one. It's right where it needs to be at. I don't need to add any magnesium. I don't need any Epsom salt in any of these. And lots of people will go and put Epsom salt around their pepper plants and they go, oh, well, pepper plants need Epsom salt. And usually, as a rule of thumb, in a high tunnel, your beds are usually deficient of Epsom salt because most people use potting soil. These beds do not have potting soil in them. This is soil that I bought from a facility. It's pure soil with ground up bark and limbs and leaves that's been rotted down over a period of time. Thus, if you use a lot of potting soil in your containers, like we have these mineral tubs behind us here, a lot of those has a lot of potting soil in them mixed in with our regular soil. Those will have to be tested separately from this in order to know where we're at with our nutrition on that. But by looking at the plants and looking at these plants, I can get a pretty good idea of what I'm missing in these plants based on how the plant is maturing and growing. So no calcium for this one. The magnesium, no magnesium. Sodium. The salt is at 4.09. Optimal is 0.5 to 30.0, which I'm on the low end of salt, which I love that fact. I don't have to worry about if I want to put a little fertilizer in here. I don't have to worry about raising the salt level too high. And the fact that I got a lot of rabbit manure in here, sometimes when you use rabbit manure, you raise the salt level up because the feed has a lot of salt in it if you feed them a lot. Iron, which I tell you that we got to have the iron. In this bed, we're at 3.66. Optimal is 3 to 10. I'm a little low on the iron side in this one because I want these to be very iron dense because of Wanda's condition. So I want to make sure that I raise the iron just a little bit, not a lot. Manganese is 29.37. Normal is 4.0 to 10. I'm very high in manganese. Like I said in the other ones, I got to figure out how to bring the manganese down just a little bit. Okay, the zinc, we're at 0.29. Normal is 0.1 to 0.25. So we're on the high side of the zinc, which I don't mind at all because the body needs a lot of zinc to stay healthy. Copper, we're at 0.07. Normal is 0.06 to 0.3. We're on the very low end of the optimal range, which means I need to, also on this side, I need to raise the copper up just a little bit in these raised beds. Now, what did the nutrient density score of this side come out to be? This side came out to be 54%, which was less than the other side. We're just medium over here. Now, will this all grow stuff? It will grow stuff. Will it produce? Yes, it will produce. Will it give you vegetables that's good to eat? Yes, it give you vegetables that's good to eat. Will they give the body what they need to stay healthy? No. They will give you some stuff, but they will not give you what the body truly needs for your daily intake of minerals and vitamins in your body. So we got to do a little work, and I'm going to be amending these. I'll be amending for the nitrogen. I'm going to just be using a granular nitrogen that I buy at my local store here. I'm not going to be using the calcium nitrate because my calcium's high on both beds. I won't be adding any nitrogen to the English PE bed because it already it will be making its own nitrogen, so I don't need any in that bed. But the rest of them, I will be adding some nitrogen to. I don't really need any kind of potash on anything. I need to raise the phosphorus up in the beds on this side right here a little bit. Guys, I'm just going to come in here and do it. And I'm probably not going to film this because the video would just be so long. We may do a separate video when I get through doing a walk around of all the things in the high tunnel right now and show you what they look like and tell you what I've done to bring everything up to what it needs to be in another video. The Vego beds that we have has made gardening this year going to be so much more convenient for us because you see the hoops we made here? This is 3/8 rebar cut in 2-foot lengths, 1/2 inch pecs, just cut to the length that I want the top of the hoops to be and just bent over a 1/2 inch pecs will slide right over a 3/8 rebar perfectly. And you can make your own little hoops here, you know, all down through here. We kept these covered during the freeze. Absolutely lost nothing. Didn't have to worry about anything. So check out the Vego beds. There'll be a link in the description down below. And Grower Solutions high tunnels. We still don't have this one completely finished, but right now it's more important to get my vegetables going. I can work on the high tunnel as time permits because I'm not that stressed about it right now. It's still pretty cool. Thank you guys from Pecan Grove.